Okay, cool.
All right, we are on. We are not live. This is a pre-recorded video. Welcome to the channel. This is Emilia, and what you'll see is something that I've never done before on the channel. What you see here is there's a dude over there. He's not with me. He's on the video with me. He's actually located somewhere around the world, and we're going to talk more about where he is and how he is. This is John Davis. This is John Davis, pointed right over there. He's a rising affiliate marketer who I have met through a Facebook group that I'm having a lot of fun in. He's been in the affiliate marketing space, he says, for about 3 years, although he never really got serious about it until about 6 months ago. His affiliate marketing efforts, he's focusing on building second income streams on top of the job that he already has. So he's not one of these guys who's in full-time, all in yet. But he's doing this because he wants to be able to provide for his family, you know, do the things that they always dreamed of, keep his wife at home with their kids, because he has kids just like me. And what are we going to do today in this video? Today in this video, I want to talk about stuff that I'm interested in and the stuff that he's interested in. And my hope is that if you are new to affiliate marketing or new to blogging or new to the whole make money online industry, that you'll be able to look at this video and get something out of it, and something that's actionable and something that is real, like the real life experience of what it's like to jump in to affiliate marketing when you already have a job and a family and kids, and it's hard. So welcome, John Davis, to the channel. How are you? Thanks for being here.
Hi, Emilia, and hi to anyone else that's watching this. Thank you.
Well, why don't you first just introduce us to you, like where in the world are you, and what can you share about your life? Like, you don't have to tell us things that are private, because I know a lot of us have jobs and we don't want to bring our kids or families into it, but what can you tell us about you?
Yeah, sure. So I'm based in the UK, in the north, near Manchester. It's probably the nearest place that people may have heard of. Hopefully you can understand the accent. But yeah, as Emilia said, I've got 2 young children and a beautiful wife, and kind of affiliate marketing is something I'm kind of throwing myself into at the moment. So I've been looking at various different kind of side hustles and ways of making a second income stream over the last few years. And I've tried some that have worked, some that haven't worked, some that have made money but don't necessarily fit the lifestyle that I want or have, some that are a bit more kind of time dependent, like running around shops and trying to sell things on Amazon every 2 minutes. So but yeah, so affiliate marketing is the one that basically I started learning it a couple of years ago, but really, really slowly. I was on a couple of kind of Facebook groups and forums, and I was aware of the concepts and I was learning it, but I never threw myself into it. I was always focusing on other little side hustles. It's only recently that I've really it's dawned on me, it's clicked that that's the thing that I think has got the most potential. It's the thing I believe I can be good at, and that's why I'm really throwing myself into it now. Ideally, like I say, is to make a second income, and in all honesty, at least to provide opportunities for my family, is to be able to give them any experiences that they want. And I'd say holiday, but you probably say vacation. It's also, we both, myself and my wife, love to travel, and we've been lucky enough to be able to take the kids to quite a few random places in the world, and we want that to continue. I want to be in a position where at any point in the year I can just say, let's go here and let's go there and let's just see the world and soak it in a little bit. So that's how I'm got into affiliate marketing and what I want to achieve through it.
Well, let me ask you something. It's actually a 2-part question. Is 1, have you ever been interviewed like this before? And 2, are you comfortable here today?
I've never been interviewed like this before, and it's an extremely different situation than what I've experienced. So I'm comfortable, but yeah, it's definitely a bit of an odd one. But I think I've kind of realised the last few months that in order to progress, in order to achieve what you want in life, you've got to keep pushing your boundaries. You've got to keep stepping forward and pushing that comfort zone. So this is hopefully another little step forward and another little way of improving myself and that belief that I have as well. So.
All right. So as far as your, I want to say, strategies, or I'm going to use my air quotes a lot because somebody can actually see your strategy. strategies. What are your focuses as far as building your online business? Like, what are you focusing on?
Okay, so at the moment, I've recently done the One Funnel Away challenge from Russell Brunson, ClickFunnels, and that was one of a series of things that really kind of fired me up and made me realize that things are possible. It is possible to achieve what I want to achieve. It gave me that belief, and I've got kind of other influences as well. Mainly, I don't know if you want me to name any names, but
no, drop the names. That's fine with me.
So I don't know if you've done One Funnel Away challenge, but basically I found that I was kind of exposed to millions of different Facebook groups and people, and I got really shiny object syndrome by seeing what all these people were doing, and I found it overwhelming. It took me a couple of months afterwards to really refocus and to kind of get my head straight with what I wanted to do, because I just saw what everyone was doing and wanted to follow them, and obviously you can't do that. So a couple of my, I'm going to call them mentors, I guess, and influencers. So the main two would be Jacob Carris, who I think we've got that in common, and a guy called Zach Crawford, who's really, really good as well. So they're two extremely capable affiliates that are living the kind of life that you want to live. They're making big achievements, but they're also really relatable. They just seem like normal people that have found a way of doing it. And I think when you realize that these people are just normal and that it is achievable, it gives you that belief. So they both have said the exact same thing to me. They've both said, focus on one thing. So my one thing at the moment, my one thing at the moment is YouTube. Now, yeah. So I've just said 2 minutes ago that this is a bit strange for me, when I should be a little bit more natural with it now. But YouTube is probably my biggest fear. So I can't think that there's any videos of me, especially me talking or anything. There might be the odd one where I'm kind of out with the kids, like playing outside or helping them on the bike or anything. But I avoid the camera. I avoid talking to a degree.
You seem to be doing really well for a guy who hates the camera. Now, let me ask, so why are you focusing on YouTube? Like, why YouTube? Why not blogging, or why not Snapchat or Instagram or Facebook? Like, why YouTube?
So 2 reasons. One, I believe in facing your fears. I believe that if you keep pushing your boundaries, you're gonna get more growth. You're gonna get more, I don't know, it's gonna be a bit more kind of reinforced in that belief. And that's how I do believe that if you're gonna do something, do it where you're gonna feel under pressure. Do it where you're going to feel like you've got to improve. So I do like blogging as well, and I do have a blog, but at the moment it's more or less static, because I've kind of set myself a challenge and I'm pushing forward with that. My second reason is just because of how powerful YouTube has become. It's the second biggest search engine out there, and I still think even though the numbers are ridiculous for how many videos go on there each day, I still think it's undervalued, and I think that's where the most potential is. So it feels the right place for me to improve my skills and my presentation and to really kind of like push forward.
So how are you challenging yourself then? What are you doing you said, YouTube is your big challenge. Like, what are you doing to overcome your fears and to improve? Okay,
so I'm currently doing a 100-day challenge. So I set myself this challenge originally because I generally, and I've always been the same since I was a kid, if I'm under pressure, I work well. But my parents used to say to me, like, that I'm capable, but I need a rocket up my backside. In other words, like, if I'm just left to my own devices, I'll just kind of meander along. Mm-hmm. I need that pressure. I need something that will make me do it. So I set myself a challenge so that I would create 100 videos in 100 days. Not necessarily one a day, but at the end of 100 days, I hope to have 100 videos on there. And then there was actually another kind of acquaintance from some of these affiliate marketing groups that we're in that also set himself the same challenge. And that really, because I was still kind of saying, oh, I'm going to start next week. I just need to do this, and maybe I'll just get a few videos ready. And I was delaying it. And then he basically came out and said he's going to do it. And that kind of forced my hand. I was like, no, it gives me that accountability. We can help each other, kind of push each other along. And that kind of got started. So
So what would you say that you have learned then in this 100-day challenge so far? I mean, you're somewhere in the middle of it, I assume, but what are the practical skills that you feel like that you have learned in doing this challenge?
Quite a lot, really. It's all about processes. It's all about being organised. There's loads of different factors to it. The main thing I've learned is it's not easy. It's really, really hard. But I suppose it has to be, doesn't it? You don't get anywhere taking the easy road, do you? So yeah, it's tough. But I've generally found that if you get your process right, learn from the people that are already out there doing it, and just kind of reverse engineer what they do. So whether it's the way they structure the videos, the length of the video, what they're trying to tell you, what the tone of what they're saying. So I've got kind of like a checklist that I go through. I make that sound like I'm really organized, and I've got like the completely perfectly structured videos. But a lot of the time, because I'm also setting myself this time challenge, I'm probably going for quantity over quality more than I'd like. But sometimes it's like you don't want to break the chain. So I just want to get a video out. And like I say, I've got kids, I've got responsibilities, and sometimes it's like 10 o'clock at night and I need to film a video. So I've got my ideal YouTube video, and then I've got sometimes what I can get out there YouTube video. But it's about learning, and I think by the end of it, once I've got into that kind of that flow, and I've got like my system of what I need to do, I'll be able to do that quicker. So for example, one of the things I want to do is batch process more. So you have various things. You kind of do your research, you prep, you do your video, you do your recording, and afterwards I edit quite heavily because there's a lot of stuttering and erring. So I'll edit my videos, I'll create my thumbnails, my descriptions. You've got to use tags and effectively tag them to get that kind of search engine optimization that just right. So there's loads of different little factors, and I think in an ideal world, the where I want to get is where, say on a Sunday night, I'll create all of my thumbnails for the week, or I'll spend one night where I don't do a video, but I will plan all the next 5 videos, that kind of thing. But yeah, there's a lot to learn, and the only way you learn is by doing it, really. You can textbook all you want, you're not going to learn until you throw yourself in there.
So for someone who is brand new, who wanted to learn how to jump into YouTube, can you think of one resource that you would recommend to go to? Like the one resource that you have now that you wish that you could have gone back 3 years ago and had that would have really helped you along? Can you think of one thing you could tell people, like, go get that to help you with YouTube?
There's probably a couple, really. So the main one that got me started was, I mentioned Zach Crawford before. So his product, which he's actually redoing at the moment, so I can't tell you what his product's necessarily called because it launches next week. But he had a section in there, and he talks a lot about mindset and motivation. And the other thing, if you want kind of a good free guide, if you sign up for the ClickFunnels Affiliate Bootcamp, they'll send you some videos each day. They ask basically 15 super affiliates how they would start an affiliate marketing career and get a full-time income within 100 days, I think it is. And they've asked 15 people of all different kind of backgrounds. And one of them is a guy called what's it called? There's a couple actually. There's a couple of YouTube ones. There's Marley Baird, and there's a guy called Joe. I can't remember his surname. Marfoglio. That sounds like I've just made that up. Joe.
Kind of.
He exists. But basically, you'll get a video where they talk you through. It's like an interview where they'll talk through like their plans of how they would start from scratch. And they're probably the 2 YouTube specific ones, and they give you a really good outline and show you like different components. So that's free. So I'd recommend anyone gets that.
For Zach Crawford, what does his course cost? Like, is it expensive, like a $9.97 type course, or is it one of those?
This is where I can't really answer because he's redoing it. So he's literally like launches next week. So I got into it through my ClickFunnels sign up, but I believe he may have dropped that way in. He's quite a successful affiliate marketer, so I would imagine when he relaunches it, it will probably be about $9.97. It seems to be the common price range, doesn't it, for them kind of courses. But like I say, affiliate bootcamp is extremely good if you want free information and you want a variety as well, so that you can look at it and you can almost decide what route you want to go down, because there's tons of ways of going about affiliate marketing. But like I say, the one bit of advice they've given me is just focus on one thing, and when you've mastered that, then move on. So I've got a while before we move on.
Well, we've talked about YouTube, and YouTube is definitely a focus of mine, but since I've got you here and blogging is also a focus of mine, I just want to pick your brain a little bit about blogging. You said that you have been a blogger. How long have you been doing that?
On and off for a couple of years. I've made, I think, I'd like to think most bloggers would agree that when you start up with a blog, generally you'll make a few wrong choices and you'll scrap the first X amount that you do. So I've kind of been there and done that. The blog I've got at the moment is the one I'm going to pursue, and that's kind of in line with what I'm doing. So my whole idea is that at the end of the 100 days, when I've got a little bit more time allowance, I'll do a little bit more repurposing my content. So I'll put more research, I'll do more long form videos, and then I'll repurpose them videos into blog content as well, and do a bit more kind of review focus as well. But yeah, I've never talked to a blogger yet that hasn't created quite a few that end up in the bin. The thing is, though, it's like, it's just the way, isn't it? It's the learning curve, isn't it, with blogs? That's how you get better. You try, you fail, you try, you fail. The downside I find with blogging is that it's slow to win or lose. So you've almost got to put the time and the effort and the patience in, then to realise, actually, I went with the wrong one. Or persevere.
So when you are creating a blog post, like, do you have a strategy, for creation of that content, or are you the kind of guy that just sits down and just flies out of your fingers, right? Like, and just on the page. Like, what is your strategy for creating a blog post?
Okay, so I do a little bit of both. I think for me, I work in my normal 9-to-5 job. I work in like a technical environment, so it's very logical. It works, it doesn't work, and what are my logical steps to fixing it? And I don't find that's necessarily great for creativity. So I kind of try and come at it from different angles. So I do believe one of the best ways of doing it is just doing a brain dump. So if you pick your blog topic and then just anything that comes into your mind, write it down. Spend 10 minutes. Just however silly it seems, write it down, and then walk away. 10 minutes later, go back and almost review it. I think you've got to start looking at things from a point of view of what is going to help people. So when people read a blog or watch your video, generally, some will do it for enjoyment, but generally it's a what's in it for me? What do I get out of this? If I'm going to spend my time reading your page, what do I get out of it? Now, whether that's that they learn something, it fixes something. And I think you've got to look at that kind of approach. Even if you write just because you love writing, people, what they get out of it is the enjoyment of reading your well-crafted blog post or story. But yeah, generally when you're talking about affiliate marketing, it's not necessarily beautiful stories as much as it is. Well, actually, no, that's wrong. That's something I've got to learn, and that is a little tip actually. I definitely need to bring storytelling into my blog post a bit more, and take that logical kind of black and white side of it out of it a little bit, and put a bit more personality into them. But yeah, I go through, and then there's various different sites that I'll use as well. So your main one is just Google. Start typing in the keywords or whatever it is you're going to write about. Think of the questions that people would ask, the problems that they have, and different thoughts. Put yourself in their shoes, what would they ask? Does this work? How much is it? Where do I buy it from? How does it compare against X, Y, Z? Think of the questions people are going to ask. And if you start typing it into Google, this is one of the easiest ways of doing it. Start typing it into Google and it'll give you auto suggestions. Them auto suggestions is Google's way of trying to answer that question as fast as it can. So write them down, see what other people are actually asking. It's there for you, isn't it? There are other ways of doing it. There's keyword sites you can pay for, there's free ones. But generally, I think you can put yourself in their position and solve the problems that they've got. that's how I go about it.
Well, that's a question then for someone who's brand new, because when you're brand new, right, you don't know how anything works, and it's really tempting to spend money to build confidence, right? Like, I'm doing this, and if I throw money at it, it will help it work. So as far as keyword tools go, I mean, how important do you think it is for someone who's brand new to throw money at like Ahrefs or SEMrush?
I don't think you have to at all, personally. I know many would argue the opposite, but I don't think you have to. I think the information's out there. I think Google you can use. You can also sign up for Google Keyword Planner, which will give you an indication of how many searches there's been. There used to be a couple of good free ones. So SEMrush used to be free to a degree, and there was a few others, but I think they're now paid versions. NeilPatel.com, Uber Suggest is really good, and that's free as well. And the other thing is just getting a feel. So if you've got a product that you want to rank for, Google that product, and then whatever comes up on the first, I mean, you can do 2 pages if you want, but realistically, just do your first page if you don't have the time. Go through each of the sites that's on that first page. See what tone they're taking towards that product. Are they recommending it? You can get a feel of what they're saying. Have a look at what the word count is. Have a look at the headings that they use. So generally, they'll put the keywords and what's got them onto page 1 of Google. You'll get a good idea of the headings of each section. So just have a look at what they're doing. Don't copy it, but that gives you the benchmark. They've got onto page 1 of Google. So go away and beat that. Improve on what they've done. Add a little bit more, or add a little bit more storytelling as well. Should follow that myself.
So one of the hardest things about getting started, I think, either on YouTube or in blogging, is picking out a topic, a niche. Do you say niche or niche?
Niche.
Niche. I'd say niche. But as far as picking out a niche, how is someone supposed to go and figure this out? And do you have any niches that you would recommend that people who are brand new, that they absolutely avoid?
I'd say, this is really cliche, this, most people will tell you to pick something that you actually enjoy, something you're interested in. Now you don't, this is a big takeaway I've got recently, and mainly through like Russell Brunson's training. So whether it was the One Funnel Away Challenge or Expert Secrets, you don't have to be an expert. So I've always blocked myself and prevented myself from making kind of forward steps, because I've always had that fear that I'm not the expert. So that's why it's quite random that we're having this conversation, because, like I say, I'm not. It holds you back all the time, and you've got to beat yourself with that. It's that imposter syndrome. So push past that. People will read the blog if you're saying from day one, I've never done this before, but I've always wanted to learn it. So start talking about what, as someone who's never done that particular thing before, whatever that niche is. What is it that you need to do? What are the questions that are in your mind, and talk about it. People will relate to that because they'll probably be in the exact same position. And then if you can then show that you reach a certain point, you can document that journey. So you don't have to be an expert. You can pretty much start at the beginning. And so my main thing is, again, pick something you're interested in, pick something you're either passionate about or you want to learn, because you're probably going to have to write a lot on it. You're going to have to learn to love it a little bit. And that's probably some of the mistakes I've made. I've picked some quite random niches before. So I looked at where there was the most financial gain and started writing, creating my site, spent about 3 weeks creating a logo as if that was going to like make or break me. I'd get really kind of hung up on color scheme, logo, you know, all the things that basically block you from just actually creating content. Mm-hmm. And then once I'd actually put content on there, I'd realised that I'd spent so long doing the design stages of it. It was because I wasn't interested in the content whatsoever. It didn't fit, or I was having to write it under an alter ego. So I had one website that was around kind of women's weight loss. I was like, what?
Really?
No, in any way am I qualified to write about that. But I was just chasing. I was looking at whatever the best affiliate products were, and I was just chasing that. Like I say, that was one for the bin.
Well, I have a question that will challenge you, and you may or may not have a good answer for me. But You know, and you've already said, you're like, I'm not an expert, but I have interviewed you for about a half an hour so far. And so far you seem pretty darn knowledgeable on what I've asked about. So I'm going to challenge you then. And just for the record, I did not give you this question before. So I'm just hitting you with this, just totally cold. So one of the YouTubers, one of the channels that I follow is Income School. I don't know if you've ever heard of Income School, but I love their channel. Like, I just love their channel. And their most recent video, they dropped this statistic. I don't know where they got it. I don't know if it's real, but they dropped a statistic that said that 50% of Google searches do not result in a click now because of the snippet and because, you know, the people also ask deals, so people can click through the questions and answers and get the information, but not ever click on and go into a website. And it's probably, we can assume that, especially for bloggers, that this is going to, the statistic is going to go up. There are going to be fewer and fewer people clicking on articles because Google is just going to feed them the information from the articles onto the search page. Having now been presented with this statistic, whether it's real or not, can you think of anything that a blogger like me or someone who is new to blogging can do to try and either increase their competition for whatever's left, or to encourage people to actually click through to their website even though the snippet shows, you know, whatever paragraph or shows the answer?
Good question. I guess, well, first of all, that they are really good. Income School is an excellent YouTube channel. There's a lot to be learned on their material.
I can see your brain, like you're looking for it. You're like, oh, I got to think of the answer. Let me see. I'm hedging. I'm thinking. Let me just well.
Did they give the answer? Because I've not seen this one.
Well, I can let you think and tell you what I've been thinking of when I saw that, and you can tell me if you have ideas.
Yeah, go.
But when I saw that, I was like, oh God, right? Like, okay, this is only going to get worse. And so, you know, you want to feel a little bit of panic. You're like, oh, maybe this isn't something that I really want to throw all in on. Maybe I don't want to invest all of my time and my money into this. But, you know, just because Google has the answer doesn't mean that the rest of the article can't be interesting. And so I have to think, okay, what does the user see, right? When they see the snippet, they see the paragraph, and then they also see the headline of the article, right? And so that will, and also the website name, right? And so potentially one of the things that we can do as bloggers is to try and really work our headlines so that when somebody sees the snippet, that they want to click on the article because the headline is just so juicy and like so compelling that I just can't not click on it because I got my answer, but maybe I want to know what else they have to say, you know? So far, like, all I've been able to come up with is headlines. You know, it's like really working that. But I guess also, you know, as bloggers, rather than, I guess there's like the race for the bottom, right? Like the race for the keywords that aren't competitive, because not every keyword, when somebody types it in, results in a snippet or results in a question also asked. So rather than focusing on like high competition and high volume keywords, you know, those are going to have lots of snippets and lots of questions. And also the low competition but high volume keywords, like there's going to be people working on those, right? I mean, there's going to be somebody's going to be having found them, but the really low hanging fruit, like the low competition and low volume keywords, so like the really, really long ones, there are no snippets. There are no, Google has pulled nothing out of them. So if people are looking for keywords, like they do the keyword search and then, you know, look for keywords that have no snippets, like period, you know, and keywords that don't have a whole lot of volume at all. You say, okay, maybe I'm going to get 3 visitors a month from this, but you could build a business like writing for 5 visitors a month times 1,000 articles, right? And you could still have a lot of traffic. You just have to aim for different keywords. So I've talked for like 5 minutes. Have I?
Well,
Now, did
write this down.
Now, did I give you a chance to think of anything else, or are you going to be like pass? Like,
to be honest, I think you've nailed it there. I think good copy, good headlines. Even I don't know how much control you've got over the snippets. So I know some of your WordPress plugins like Yoast, you can control your main snippet, but when they break it down into the different categories and stuff, I'm not too sure how much control we've got over that at the moment. I think one thing I've learned is there probably still is lots of different kind of black hat techniques of getting your website ranked through any means necessary, really. But the bulk of people now will tell you to write good quality content that answers questions and helps people. Now, you can also then make that less boring by using good copy. Now, copywriting is an art form, isn't it? It's something I've definitely got to improve on. But good headlines, numbers, intrigue, maybe scarcity, or just, I don't know. You've got to use good hooks, haven't you? You've got to use your content to that. So I think you've nailed it really with your headlines. Like say, good headlines, good copy, bring people in. It'd be interesting to see, like say, how much control we can get over them snippets. Whether they're only going to pull out the main questions or whether they might put random questions in there. So it might be worth just mixing up your content a little bit and using the normal questions that you may ask in a review, but just throw a couple of more intriguing and random ones in there as well, and see whether they're kind of used or pushed forward in any way.
well, thank you for bearing with me on that. I just saw that and I was like, oh, I have a chance to talk to someone else about that. I'm going to shift gears a little bit and ask you just some other questions I think will be helpful to people who are just getting started. And my next question is, can you think of an affiliate marketing program or an affiliate product that would be a good place for someone who is brand new, like totally brand new, doesn't know where to start? Like, what's a good product to start with?
There's lots in there. It's fine. A lot of the good ones are extremely competitive, aren't they? I think one that's always got scope, and I see from other bloggers, is like your hosting companies, like Bluehost, SiteGround. They're usually pretty good, and you can come at that with the angle of being a beginner. You can say, I'm on the start of my journey. The very first thing I had to do was set my blog up. This is how I set my blog up. So I think that's an obvious one. There's a lot of competition around that, but that can apply to any niche. So whatever it is you're talking about, if you're talking about how you set that site up, then it's applicable, isn't it? It's not, I say any niche, you're not tied in as much. It's quite a generic one. There are good ones out there. I think my strategy going forward is I'm actually going to go high ticket, I think. Mm-hmm. I think rather than selling 1,000 of something with a low commission, I'm going to go for selling 1 or 2 of a higher price product. But the way I look at products that I would use is I only basically will promote from an ethical point of view the products that I've paid for and I believe in. I'm saying that. I obviously didn't spend much on women's weight loss products. but it's a learning curve. So from now on, no, seriously, from when I started kind of going fully into this, it's become one product, more or less one product. I'm going to kind of aim all of my some of my YouTube channel, my blog. It will be aimed at one core product with possibly 1 or 2 others that are an opportunity to that product. So from an affiliate marketing point of view, I will probably promote ClickFunnels on the side because I believe ClickFunnels is an excellent product that can assist with your affiliate marketing for various different reasons. So I think it's just narrowing it down. But yeah, there's so many products out there. So it depends what you're going to do. I mean, if you want to create a blog based on, I don't know, like dog obedience, you can be more niche than that. It could be like Rottweiler obedience lessons or whatever it is that you're interested in. There are affiliate products out there for dog obedience lessons. So there's usually something out there. I've seen the most random sites. I mean, if you look at your little Amazon sites, you know, where you always see like the top 10. I've seen websites on like water coolers and stuff. I mean, Amazon have the most bizarre ones.
The people like people are at home doing this, like creating
Yeah.
a gigantic site around water coolers.
Yeah, off really random things and just try and answer every single question that's ever been asked. But yeah, water coolers isn't for me.
All right, well, here is another question. Where did you make your first dollar online? Like, how did you do it? Like, assuming you've made your first dollar, not a profit, but you know, actually received a payment of $1. Has that happened yet? And if so, where did it come from?
Depending on what area we're talking about. So I've done various side hustles. So the first thing, I'm going back a while ago. So a colleague of mine used to basically sell stuff on eBay. And I remember at the time he was trying to get me into it. So what he used to do was he used to look at what was big on kids' TV in America, what the craze was, and then there'd be a delay before it hit the UK. So he used to just copy all the images off the website and then spend all night ironing it onto kids' t-shirts. he was always trying to get me involved, but at the time, like, I didn't have kids, I wasn't married at the time, I had no mortgage or anything. I had my wage, which was more than enough to cover me to go out to the pubs and bars on a Friday, Saturday night and go on holiday probably like every couple of months. So I didn't need it like I need it now. It's funny, the older you get, the more responsibilities you get. You try and do more on less. And it's really weird. If you had that hindsight and you could have that kind of drive and energy that you've from when you were younger, but I guess that's life, isn't it? We kind of learn as we go along. So he was selling stuff on eBay, and that kind of got me interested a little bit. So I was buying like overstock. So at one point, my back room of my house was full of glue, card, Play-Doh stuff. It was all like school supplies. My house was just covered in it. It took me like the best part of a year. I've still got some in the loft. It's like it was everywhere, and it came basically like a pallet and a bit of just stuff. And I was like, it took me ages. It was so my actual hourly rate once I'd sold that was probably about like 1 pence or 1 cent an hour or something. So I guess that counts. And then equally, like the next thing I tried was, I won't go too deep into this because it's a weird one to explain. There's a thing called matched betting. So it's where you use, do you know a bookmaker for gambling? So you know when you gamble, you want to put a bet on. So I say, I want to bet that my football team will win. There's a way that you use the bonuses that they give you to sign up for them gambling companies so that you don't lose your bet. So you basically cover all sides. It's not illegal, but they don't like you doing it. But there's a lot of people in the UK, that's how they get started with making money, because you can make fast money through it. Like you can make a few thousand doing it. Some people have made a lot more. So I did that, and that kind of paid for us to have like we took the kids to like New York for this big family adventure, which was absolutely amazing. But again, that kind of ran its course, and I've just started doing affiliate marketing and Amazon arbitrage. So do you do Amazon arbitrage?
I don't do anything with Amazon currently, although I'm familiar. I mean, is it a good place for someone who's brand new who would want to like break into making money online?
You can do. So last year I did Amazon arbitrage, and basically what happens is you look at the price. So let's take toys, for example. So kids' toys. If they're on offer in your local supermarket, your local retailers, you go and buy them up, and then you send them into Amazon and they sell them at a higher price. So there's a lot of analysis of where it's cheap and what you can sell it for. But it was so time consuming because you're constantly buying goods, getting them shipped to your house, packaging them up, doing an inventory, sending them to Amazon. And it's just not, it made money, but it wasn't worth the time and effort. And sometimes, because it became quite saturated, you'd send stuff into Amazon. By then, these are like national retailers, everyone's bought the same toys, everyone's done exactly the same thing. You all send them in at the same time, and then it's a price war first to the bottom, and people are then selling at a loss. Whereas affiliate marketing, you create your content, you put your content out there, and it's like digital real estate, isn't it? It's out there. It's like make once. Just keep creating content and building up your kind of digital empire, and then you're not reliant on what that price goes to. It's out there and it can make money. And like I say, affiliate marketing, I've had various bits and bobs from various different kind of affiliate networks or kind of direct affiliate companies. So yeah, I've had bits and bobs, but like I say, my focus at the moment is I'm going to try and go high ticket, one core product with different opportunity products from that.
So what about brand building? I mean, building yourself up as a person, as a brand, is that a goal? And do you see in the future selling your own sort of products, like your own info products? Is that a goal of yours?
Yeah. I think that's where most people are going now. I think people have hidden kind of behind, I don't know, behind that wall of this is my anonymous site, and I don't think it works. I think one of the biggest things, you're trying to convince someone to buy something, and I think you have to be relatable. So they have to know a little bit of your backstory, or they have to know you. And I think if you put your name out there and just front it a little bit, don't get me wrong, it's not the only way you can do it. There's lots of different ways of doing it, isn't there? But I personally think that's the way to do it. So when I made the decision I was going to start, I went onto my Facebook profile. And this is a really tedious job, by the way. I deleted years and years and years of like personal posts, pictures. My entire life went off and it became a business tool. So there's different ways you can do that, but yeah, it's harder than you think deleting. Like you've got to manually delete every uploaded picture you've ever done. So I decided that it was going to become a business tool and I will brand myself. It's getting over that initial fear. So I know at some point my work colleagues are going to see it and I'm going to get ridiculed. And when I did my Facebook one, I kind of thought, shall I just delete all my friends off there so no one laughs, no one gives me any grief? And then I decided not to in the end because there's no point. They're my friends. I didn't have 2,000 people on there anyway. I had close friends. Some of them think I'm slightly mad. Some of them give me a little bit of grief. Some of them think I'm just having some kind of breakdown, but that's fine. Maybe I am. So I decided to just do it, just go for it. I'm on YouTube. No one likes, I mean, maybe I'm wrong here, but not many people surely like watching themselves on video and listening to their own voice. Because it's not the same voice that you hear, is it, in your head? It's like a different person. So that's the way I've gone. I'd encourage people to self-brand, but it's not the only way you can do it. And some people can't, can they? Because of their jobs, it may be that they don't have that option. So I would encourage people to do it, but I'm not saying it's necessarily the best way of doing it.
So one of the things that has been recommended to me to do, to help like get over that fear is to not just pose the question, to actually answer it and like write it down or really acknowledge it. Like, what is the worst that could happen? Like literally, like what is the worst that could happen? Like answer that for me. Like what is the worst thing that could happen if you start posting on Facebook about your online endeavors? Or what's the worst thing that could happen if somebody, your friends or your parents found out about you on YouTube? Like what's the worst, like literally for you, like out loud, like what's the worst?
For me, I think if in any way it compromised my job, because I'm doing this whole thing for my family to create opportunities, and it's about, for me, it sounds really old-fashioned, but it's about providing for them, and it's about making sure they're safe, they've got opportunity. Me losing my actual 9-to-5 job at this point would be extremely risky, but I don't go kind of beyond that. I mean, I actually enjoy my job. A lot of people get into affiliate marketing because they hate the job. I actually don't mind my job, and it does give me a lot of kind of satisfaction as well. I help people for my job. There's bits I obviously don't like, and there's people I obviously don't like, but generally, generally I like it. They've always given me opportunity. They've always encouraged me. They've always supported me. I would like to think things are changing now. I think more companies now are actually promoting people to do their own projects, to get more creative. And I think when people are more positive and creative and they bring that into the workplace, it's not always a bad thing, but that does depend on your employer. The only thing I wished I had was more time in the day, because once you've given so much of your day to the person that helps pay my bills, like I say, but there's quite a few people I speak to at the moment that that follow this kind of like, I suppose, digital nomad lifestyle, where they're younger now, and they'll go and live in maybe like Asia, where the cost of living is so cheap, and they'll try and build their companies or their kind of ventures and stuff at low cost. And I've got quite a lot of admiration for that. When, like, say, when I was younger, I just thought, oh, I get paid enough that I can do anything I want. You don't think about the future, do you? So yeah, that's worst case is probably job, but I don't think I put anything out there to compromise that. I'll just get ridiculed a bit, like I say.
So you've acknowledged that you're part of the ClickFunnels universe, and you probably saw or heard of the 30days.com, like the 30 days challenge, like all these, I don't say gurus, but experts, or what would you do if you had to start over? Like, have you given any thought with what you know right now, if the worst did happen, like what would you do? Like, if your job did see this and they were like, this violates, some obscure term in your contract where you would never talk about work online, and you just totally blew it. Do you think that you would run away, like right away, and get another job? Or do you think that you would make a go of it and like just make a go of doing full-time online?
Oh, that's tricky. First of all, hopefully they don't. If they're watching this, I love it. It's the best job I've ever had. I wouldn't swap it for the world. But if they're not watching this, then I would go all out. I'd need that security. I'm not a massive risk taker. I need that security. So my kind of backstory a little bit is when we had kids, like my wife had kind of really fought to build up her career as well. So we both built our careers up, and then we had children, and her working hours were slightly different to mine. So she works like late evenings and weekends. And then when we had our second child, we didn't see each other. It was just carnage. It was absolute carnage. So we weren't seeing each other. And then at the end of the month, the bill for childcare would be like at the equivalent of a wage. So it was like, what are we working for other than career pride? So we made the decision. In her role, she couldn't actually go part-time. She had to basically step out of that role, and we had to take a huge pay cut. So we made that decision. It was like ripping off a Band-Aid. We just did it. And we've coped, and we've got a much better work-life balance. But whereas before it was kind of like her salary, my salary, it's now like that. So it's a bit more pressure on myself to keep that. Don't get me wrong, she could probably go out and find a job quicker than I could that'd equal that back out. But it was weird. That's probably why I started looking for side hustles, because we could get by, but life's short, and I do believe I don't want to be just getting by. I want to see the world. I've got kind of family on the other side of the world, and I want to be able to go and see it and have different experiences, and I want my kids to grow up like that as well. I don't want them to only know this, like, their immediate area. I want them to know and experience a bit of everything. So that was partly it. So if I had to start again, I would probably do both. I would probably look for a job, just because I think you've got to, haven't you? There's bills to pay. But I would also throw myself into it. I would be running on 3 hours sleep. I would be. My initial thing would be just content. Just create as much content as you can, whether that's blog posts, YouTube videos, both, whatever it is you're doing. Just get that content out there. Stop faffing around with logos and color schemes and tweaking your WordPress theme or your branding. Just get the very basics done, and then just create as much as you possibly can. Because the quicker it's out there, the quicker you're going to get to the point where there's a bit of momentum. So.
I have another really important question that I think that you should hopefully answer. But what is your secret traffic source?
Oh, that's like the hardest part of making money online, affiliate marketing, anything. Traffic is the hardest part. I think for me, the way I want to go and the way that when I look at the people that I kind of trust and believe and follow, you've got to be relatable. You've got to be a real person. You've got to be putting genuine answers out there. Because you can recommend me a product, but I know how much commission you're making on that product, and I know where there are other reviews of that product. So if you've got someone that's giving you good, genuine, honest feedback, that will bring people in. But that's long term, isn't it? We both know, like, getting a site to rank on Google it's not fast, is it? So that's where I'm going with YouTube. It's slowly building, but like I say, I think it's that whole thing, isn't it, of kind of pushing the boulder up the hill. And you can see from some of the people that we both kind of follow, like Jacob and stuff, you can see the effort, and he explains, he tells you, doesn't he? He tells you and shows you exactly what he's done. And you can see for a long time he must have been like pushing that boulder up the hill, and now he's having great success with it. So I think that's the key. I don't pay for traffic. Maybe I will do at some point, but I think you've got to build it to a certain point and then reinforce and accelerate it with paid traffic. So yeah, so hopefully YouTube.
You did a good job handling a question that was mostly like a joke question or taking a piss at you. Is that how you say it in the UK? Because it's really common for people who are brand new, you know, to want to know, like, where do you get your traffic? Like, how do you know, what's the secret to traffic? And the answer is, just like you said, there is no secret. You work on traffic through organic Google search and through YouTube. Like, there's no website that you go to and you put, like an ATM, like you don't put your card in and traffic, you know, doesn't come out. So, you know, there just is no secret traffic source.
There are some that people will tell you that's what works, but yeah, there's nothing, if something sounds too good to be true, then it generally is. It's hard work. There's no get rich quick scheme, is there? It's hard work, but you can make that easier on yourself. And the second that you start creating and publishing, it's going to get easier and easier. You've just got to get started. And I'm saying this, I wish I was saying this to my kind of how I was not that long ago. It's like I say, I would mess around and do a slow route to everything and not really jump in two-footed. And you've got, to me at the moment, it's competitive enough that you've got to really push yourself.
So you basically jumped into the question I was going to ask you next. I'm almost done with you. I've put you through the ringer. I'm almost done with you. But I was going to ask you is that if you could, you know, take a time machine back and tell, you know, yourself something 10 years ago, like what would you tell yourself? What sort of advice would you give yourself, like knowing what you know now?
I think you've got to somehow kind of invoke that belief, haven't you? Now, I don't know whether me telling me that, or just believe, because I probably wouldn't believe what I was telling myself. So, you know what I mean? You've got to get yourself around the right people. There's a lot of people out there that are trying to be influencers. There's a lot of people that it's the ones selling the tools. It's not the ones that are digging for gold that get rich. It's the ones selling the spades. It's the ones. I think you've got to look a little bit at that. Now, it could be if they're relatable and they can show that they've had that kind of proven journey, and they'll tell you that journey, and they'll give you the advice, and they'll keep it simple. But if someone's out there, I don't know. I think you've just got to believe in yourself. That sounds really cliche. I can't believe I just said that. But you do, don't you? Basically, just do it. Just stop messing around. Just create your content. Learn as you go. That is the best way you will learn, by doing. There's only so much research you can do. Affiliate marketing, especially, the actual concept of affiliate marketing is so simple. You get a commission for recommending a product. It's like, there's no more to it than that. But the rest of it is obviously a little bit more complicated, but you'll learn that as you go. You've just got to start, believe that it is possible, and find the right people that will encourage you on your way.
Well, that wraps up about all the questions I had. Before I do the send up though, you know, we talked about in the beginning how this was something that you had not done before and that you were feeling nervous. And I just want to know, like, how was it? Like, how'd it go?
I enjoyed it, actually, yeah. I don't know whether anyone watching it will agree, but no, it was, again, it's little steps forward, isn't it? It's growing your self-belief. And I think it's weird when you can almost hear yourself back saying things. I kind of think, I feel like I'm saying the right things. So, no, I enjoyed that. I'm sweating a little. It could be like hot under these lights, but no, it could be your questions grilling me. No, I enjoyed it. It was a really positive experience. Thank you.
Yeah, well, I really enjoyed having you here, and I felt like you were able to provide a lot of information for me that was helpful. I enjoyed talking to you, and I think the ideal person to get something out of this video would be somebody who's coming through, you know, at the very beginning, you know, who still is trying to figure out where they are in this universe and where they fit and where to get started. And so I thought that you were worried about being, you know, an imposter, right? Like being not enough of an expert. And I think you are plenty expert at being a beginner affiliate marketer, and you have plenty to tell people who are coming along behind us, you know, because I'm in the same boat too. Like these people are coming behind us. It's like putting down the ladder, right? So that they can climb up behind you. So I'm going to wrap up, and I don't want you to go. I'm going to wrap up this video, and then I'm going to turn it off, and then I'm going to talk to you a bit more. But hey, everybody else on the channel, before I kick you off, I want to thank you very much for dropping by. And if you watch this whole video, I'm amazed. I am so thankful that you took the time to stop. If you have any thoughts or comments for either me or John, please leave them in the comments. We would love to hear from you and answer any questions that you have. And I'm sure that John will troll the comments on this video frequently, because he'll want to know if you have any thoughts. I'm guessing nobody will see this because he's got 50 subscribers and I have 49 right now as of July 10th, 2019, unless he's gained one since we started this. But do us a favor of leaving us a comment or giving us a thumbs up. And I'm going to put John's channel in the description. So you should go subscribe to his channel. And please, if you are catching this video and you're not subscribed to mine, just hammer that button as hard as you can. Like break your keyboard hitting it so hard, because then we'll know how much fun you had. Thank you, everybody, and we will see you in the next video.